everyone, welcome to my channel Palm Sweet Cakes and Treats. Today we are going to be learning how to decorate a 6-inch 1-layer vanilla cake. Now this is my cake. Here I want to emphasize the importance of baking with lined pans. Now with this lining, as you can see, I lined my pan with some brown paper before pouring my batter, and now that I'm about to decorate it, it's very easy for me to decorate because the cake comes out easily from the pan without any stress, and the cake is not burnt, the cake is moist, so there's so much to gain when you line your pans, especially if your cake is an oil-based cake. My cake is an oil-based cake, and if you want to learn how to make this delicious cake with just few ingredients, I have a course for you that shows you how to make this cake and several other types of flavors of cake for you. So if you want the course, just let me know in the comment section and I would send it to you. So I cut the top of my cake in order for me to get rid of the dome shape and so that it can be flat on my cake board. Now this is a 6-inch cake, so I am placing it on an 8-inch cake board. And as you can see, I put some buttercream on the board so that my cake can stick. Now I am going to go ahead and decorate my cake, but first of all I'm going to cover the cake with buttercream. Now this buttercream is very nice, stable, luscious, beautiful, thick. I made it thick so because I want it to dry on time. This is white buttercream, and if you want to get a recipe on how to make this buttercream, it's also in my course, so just let me know in the comment section if you want to learn how to make this buttercream. It's so stable, it's so nice, it's luscious, it's yummy, it makes the cake really, really beautiful. It's buttercream, but it is white. Yeah, I remember few years ago I really did not know about this white buttercream. I used to use something else and it was really difficult for me to manage. It would take a lot of icing sugar, powdered sugar, and it will not be thick enough for me to use it for the cake. When I end up using it on the cake, it will fall off, and it was really, really a big struggle for me. So I went for a class, an upgrade, and I got to learn about this white buttercream, and I am glad I did. Since then I have not gone back to the regular buttercream or even the one I was using before. It has helped me to achieve white buttercream. When someone asks for white buttercream, I can now give it to them because of knowledge. So if you want to learn how to make white buttercream, feel free to send a message in the comment section and I will send you the link to the course. All right, so as you can see here, I've covered the top of the cake. I'm covering the sides now, and it's getting really, really good. In this video, I did not necessarily crumb coat my cake. I just went ahead and just plastered the cake with the buttercream carefully, and where you can see there are no crumbs. Now this takes a lot of practice. Not everybody will be able to get it this way, but so I would advise that if you are a beginner, try as much as possible to do a lighter form. Make your buttercream just the way it is, as thick as it is, but when you want to cover your cake for your crumb coat, I would advise you just add a few drops of warm water, mix your buttercream with it, a little portion of the buttercream, and then plaster your cake to lock the crumbs in before you apply this final coat, so that you do not have crumbs on your final finish of the cake. So here I've covered the cake on the sides and the top, and now I'm going in with my scraper. This scraper has a dual purpose. It has the straight edge for the smoothing of the cake, and then it also has a comb. So right now I am combing the cake. So if you're a beginner, you might want to smoothen out the cake first before you comb the cake, so that you can have that great finish at the end of your decorating. So you might just want to smoothen it out first, then you now go ahead with your comb. Now I'm going in with my offset spatula on the top of the cake to scrape off the excess buttercream on the top of the cake. Now, I do not manage my buttercream. I ensure that my cake is properly covered, and then I'm removing the excess, not like I'm trying to manage my buttercream. When you try to manage your buttercream, you end up with a tacky result, But when you use your buttercream, apply it generously on your cake. I'm not saying cover the entire cake and let it be... the ratio between the buttercream and the cake is so much, and you find out that your customer starts complaining that, oh, the buttercream is so much. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm actually saying is ensure that you actually cover the cake with buttercream, enough buttercream, not too much. That's why you get to do this. Like, you're removing the excess gradually from the top of the cake. You're removing the excess until you're satisfied that you now have enough covering the cake, and you go ahead and decorate the top of the cake. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. When you're decorating your cake, ensure you decorate it properly. Ensure that nobody can see the cake. Then when it's time for you to do what I'm doing now in this video, you are just removing the excess. You're removing the excess, and kind of straightening and smoothing out the top of the cake to get the sharp edges. So now I'm using a toothpick to demarcate or divide the cake into two, so to speak. And I'm going in with strawberry syrup. It's thick, so you can use strawberry syrup as your topping or your drip on your cake. We also have it in caramel and chocolate flavors, but I'm using a strawberry red for this cake. It just contrasts the white color perfectly. And so I'm giving it 3 stripes on the cake, on the top of the cake, and I'm going in with a toothpick straight upwards and then straight downwards, just like this, to create this beautiful design on the cake. This is a very simple design that any beginner can just use for their cake, to decorate their cake. Can you see? You just go from top to bottom and then take it the opposite direction. Now I'm going to pipe on my cake. This is a piping bag, Wilton piping bag, and I'm using a coupler. I'm using a nozzle holder. You put your nozzle holder inside your piping bag. Fill your piping bag with buttercream like I'm doing here, not too much. If you put too much buttercream in your piping bag, when you're trying to pipe, it will be coming out from the bottom, and it will make your piping kind of messy and uncomfortable. But I would advise you put just enough buttercream that you need at that time to pipe it. When it finishes while you're piping, just refill, and that's it. So I'm putting my nozzle. It's a small star nozzle. Now, the reason why I'm using a small star nozzle is because this cake is pretty small. It's a 6-inch 1-layer cake, so I do not want to use a big nozzle. So it's probably would just overshadow the cake. So I'm using a small nozzle since it's a small cake, and I just want it to have that intricate detail on the cake. So I'm going to go with the bottom of the cake. I'm going to put in some borders using the shell. Now this is the shell technique. Can you see how it's been done. You just press your piping bag down and raise your hand slightly up on the side of the cake. So you do this, try as much as possible to maintain the same pressure till you finish piping all around the cake, against the cake and against the board. Against the cake and against the board. Now, this is going to take a lot of practice for you to, master, but practice the same makes perfect. So as much as you do it, you become perfect in it. So you have to do that. So I will usually start from the back of the cake and end at the back of the cake. Now, back or front of the cake. The front of the cake is the part of the cake that you want to show to your audience, or that the person would show to the audience. That's where the camera would capture when it wants to snap. While the back of the cake is the part of the cake that faces the celebrants, so to speak. So you start from the back of the cake to pipe, and you pipe all around through the front to the back. You start at the back and you end at the back. Now I'm piping on top of the cake. Now I'm piping the other half of the cake that does not have this red design, as you can see. I'm also going in with a shell. Yeah, the same piping technique. Now I'm going to try to cover up the edges with another layer of piping. Now I'm just going with a zigzag motion, creating another design on the cake, as you can see. So it's not exactly a shell. Now I'm also creating another design. This time I'm just going almost straight. Now I'm having a circular or direction piping, but turning my hand in a circular direction. This is also another technique using the same nozzle. Can you see? Using the same nozzle. Now I'm going in again. Now I'm just dropping. I'm piping, I'm holding it out, and I'm just dropping it like this. Can you see? This is another technique that you can use on your borders for you as a beginner. So you might just want to practice these different piping techniques on your board so that you get used to them. See, now I'm checking out the cake. The cake looks beautiful, right? I'm seeing, is there anything else I can do to this cake? I'm checking it out. What do you think? Do you think I should go on piping? Should I pipe the other side? The cake is good to go, right? But I'm just thinking, what else can we do to this cake? What else? What else can we do to this cake? The cake looks good already, but what do you think? Are we good to go? Okay. Let's pipe on the other half of the cake that has the red design. Let's see. So you probably can't see it, but I'm doing an inverted S. Yeah. Wow. And there we go. Now it's looking more beautiful, right? So you could decide to leave it without piping on the other side, or you could, just also pipe on the other side like you've seen. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.